The Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones takes you behind the headlines of Black Westchester magazine, the leading voice for Black news and culture. The Publisher's Desk offers authentic perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Join us for compelling discussions that dig deeper than mainstream media and amplify the voices that matter most to our community. It's Black Westchester magazine's The Publisher's Desk, the news with the Black point of view.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones, and welcome to the Publisher's Desk, where we talk about the news and talk about issues that are affecting the Black community, life, culture, community, faith. And tonight we're talking about politics. We're discussing what's going on in Washington, D.C. with the Democrats. What is really happening down there?
Colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
We have to fuck Trump.
They're trying to rob you, and they're probably a minor.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest.
The Democratic Party have internal fractures, and it's affecting their performance in governing. While opposition to former President Trump has united Democrats for years, since he came down that escalator, it was pushed back against Trump. And now I think it's damn near became a mental illness among Democrats in dealing with Donald Trump, because they have no agenda and they have no path to fight for the common person. President Trump has united Democrats, but recent events have shown that being anti-Trump is just not enough for governing strategy. So tonight, brothers and sisters, we're going to break down what's going on and why the Democrats have to get a new plan. They have to get an overall new plan. The recent budget battle between the Democrats and the Republicans illustrate the big problem at hand. Senate Democrats under Chuck Schumer passed a Republican-led funding bill to prevent a government shutdown. Now, we're talking about 900,000 government workers would have been out of work. And you see Democrats who claim that they were fighting for the government workers when Trump was proposing layoffs. They have no problem shutting down the government because of Trump. And I think that is a backwards move, because Trump is not going to get the blame. It's going to go to Democrats. Democrats is going to get the blame. They feel Trump is going to get the blame, but Democrats is going to get the blame. So let's ask the biggest question, because a lot of people are mad at Chuck Schumer because he made the deal. Chuck Schumer, but we got to understand, Chuck Schumer is old school. Chuck Schumer believes in working across the aisle. He believes in bipartisanship, because that's old school politics. And at the end of the day, they get it done. But the new politics that we have, and Republicans and Republicans, they have their issues too. But guess what? I don't want to hear about Republicans, because 80% of Black men vote Democrat, and over 95% of Black women vote Democrat. So don't give me the Republicans. We're discussing on who we majority put our eggs, what basket that we put our eggs in, and that's the Democratic basket. So I don't want to hear any comments about Republicans. I don't want to hear any comments about Republicans, because we don't vote for Republicans. So it's no even, we shouldn't even be discussing more. Well, Trump got the highest rate of Black people, but still, at the end of the day, 80 black males, Democrat, 80% black male Democrats, and over 95% black women vote Democrat. So we're having a conversation about who we vote for. That's what we're having the conversation about. And right now we're voting for dysfunction. We're voting for not even having a plan. We're voting for pointing fingers at each other.
Is furious, right?
I know,
Most
I
of
know.
the caucus is furious. I never before, my parents were Democrats. I've been a Democrat my entire life. Never before did I say, I should leave this party, because if democracy is at risk and you had no idea what to do and you have no plan, and even now at this moment, you know nothing of what to do and you're capitulating to this is disgusting.
Are you thinking about leaving the Democratic Party? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, me personally, yes. I'm not an elected official, but I have always voted with the Democrats.
Over this issue?
Yeah, over the inability to figure out what to do in the face of fascism and the rise of Trump.
So they're mad at Chuck Schumer because he was worried about the 900,000 federal workers. But nobody's looking at Hakeem Jeffries because he failed to push any alternative in time, especially allowing the Republicans to dictate the terms, instead of securing meaningful compromise early in the process in the House. Another major issue plaguing Democrats in both chambers, the House and the Senate, they don't have an agenda other than F Trump. They don't have no agenda, no political agenda other than F Trump. They haven't outlined any specific legislative priorities, nor have they engaged in meaningful negotiations with Speaker Mike Johnson to craft a bipartisan legislation. It's just been F Trump.
Kept saying it's a messaging issue, as though, no, everything's going right, you just don't realize it yet. As opposed to, we've gotten away from New Deal values. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I think there's a few things going on here.
Yeah.
In terms of how we better communicate with the American people, Maya Angelou said it best. People won't remember what you say. They may not even remember what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And I think what we have to do a better job of is making the American people feel that we understand the pain that they've been in economically.
The failure to establish and pursue a strategic policy roadmap has left the Democrats constantly playing defense without a proactive approach. They're allowing Republicans to set the legislative agenda. Yes, they do control the House. Yes, they do control the Senate. Yes, they do control the White House. But when you have a F them attitude and you're not laying any agenda down yourself, it's a plan for continued failure. And I'm sorry to say, the party is just not united. There's no leadership. Hakeem Jeffries, as House Minority Leader, has yet to demonstrate the ability to unify Democrats and manage internal divisions or drive a clear legislative directive. I'm sorry. And I think the Democratic Party needs to see a counselor with this obsession with the F Trump. Yes, Trump remains a polarizing figure, and many Democrats view him as a threat to democracy and its institutions. But the obsession with stopping Trump has contributed to political dysfunction among the Democrats. In fact, when Trump really gaslighted the Democrats is when he thanked Schumer on social media, triggering a frenzy among House Democrats against their Senate counterparts. This was a strategic move by Trump, and he deepened the division within the Democratic Party while shifting a focus away from his own actions. Now, that's what everybody's talking about now. Democrats continue to get played because they're acting out of emotions and not leadership and not an agenda. A major factor in this dysfunction is weak leadership. Schumer's failed to unify the Senate caucus, with 10 Senate Democrats breaking ranks to vote for the GOP-led budget bill. But meanwhile, House Democrats lack a clear strategy, and battles between moderates and progressives continue to weaken their ability to present a unified front. Nancy Pelosi's weird recent tweet about listen to women, I don't know what that's all about. It was a thinly veiled criticism of Schumer, signaling the eternal power struggles rather than cooperation. But if they had followed that advice, the government would have shut down. 900,000 people would not be getting paid. And the last time we had a large shutdown, TSA agents started calling in sick, and it had affected the whole economy of travel through airports. If that's what we was looking for, to say F Trump, would you be ready for that?
Dealing with their own shutdowns. TSA checkpoints in Houston and Atlanta closed.
We had to come here like 2 hours before?
The bottleneck leading to 90-minute lines stretching all the way to baggage claim in Atlanta. As more and more TSA officers working without pay call in sick.
So what is the path forward for Democrats? If Democrats want to be politically viable within the next 2 years, they need to stop governing out of spite and start governing with a purpose. House Senate Democrats must coordinate their legislative priorities in advance. It's probably clear that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer didn't even conversate how we gonna move forward. Democrats should introduce policies that force Republicans to respond rather than waiting for the GOP to set the agenda. And if it's a good policy that they come up with, God damn it, support it. What is wrong with you? You can't just vote no on everything, even if it benefits the American people. That doesn't make sense. People did not vote for you to go down there and do that. Maybe some ignorant people did. But right now, you House Democrats, Democratic Party has the lowest approval rating in history because of this, whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. You're just making a mess.
CNN poll that paints a brutal reality for Democrats as they struggle to mount a unified opposition to President Trump. Americans' favorable views of the Democratic Party's brand are at a record low, just 29%. That's compared to 36% for Republicans. It is the lowest ever recorded for Democrats in CNN polling going back more than 30 years. As you can see, the party's numbers dropping a staggering 20 points in just 4 years.
And you got to move beyond this Trump-centric narrative and focus on kitchen table issues, jobs, inflation, healthcare, education. Jobs, inflation, healthcare, education. That rhymes, and y'all better start saying that in your sleep and wake up and talking about that instead of Trump is this, Elon Musk is that, Trump is this, Elon Musk is that. You're wearing people out with that. And you have to embrace compromise. I know it goes against this new Democratic Party, and that's why you're in the tank. And you're going to continue to be in the tank, and you're going to have problems in these midterm elections. The Democratic Party isn't struggling because of Republican Party opposition. It's struggling because of its own internal dysfunction and lack of agenda. I've been a Democrat most of my life, and it's amazing to what I see from when I grew up. It's really amazing. Y'all have to get your ish together and go down there and govern for the people. You do not look natural trying to do podcasts and do just go and govern. Go and govern, because soon it won't be it won't be a Democratic Party, because either people are just going to go to the Republican Party because they see them getting things done, whether you like it or not. Trump is keeping his promise to the voters that voted for him, or people are just not going to vote at all, just like the 15 million people that just didn't vote. Because you're not giving any substance other than F Trump and F Elon Musk. You know, something that my mother told me, God bless the dead, and she was a very wise woman. When any person gets into an argument with you and they personally attack you, that means they have nothing to argue with you for. They have no basis or information or proof of their argument about the subject. And this is what I see in Democrats from what my mother taught me, because you've made it personal against Trump and Elon Musk. You haven't put forth an agenda and explained your agenda to the people. You just made it personal. And when people make arguments personal, that means they have nothing. Come on. We have to do better, Democrats. We have to be better. I don't know which way that the Democratic Party's going, but you keep going and you won't have a party. So if you enjoyed this discussion and you think that the Democrats need to change, whatever which way you think they need to change, please leave a message. And if you liked it, please hit the like. Help Black Westchester with the algorithm so our videos can continue to move around the YouTube stratosphere, so we can continue to have these discussions, these great discussions about life, culture, community, faith, and politics. And go to blackwestchester.com and check out our articles. It's the news with the Black point of view. And we always going to be critical because we want to see Black people do better. We want Black excellence in 2025, not Black ignorance. Even in our politics, we want to see Black excellence, because most Black politicians are in their position because they're over a majority of a Black district. Most of them. And we did not vote for you to go down to DC and dance to Kendrick Lamar or curse at press conferences and F this and F that and make stupid jokes in hearings. We did not vote for you to do that. See, when you get to doing that, that means you have nothing for us. You have nothing for the people. Now, those of y'all that like that ignorant stuff, that's on you, but ain't nothing getting done. And then you want to complain why your community looks the way it looks. We've gotten to the habit to vote for this nonsense, even in local politics, in county politics, even in state politics. Forget about federal politics. This is the culture of what we've been voting for. And we have to mature as the voter to demand more from our elected officials. Because if you look around, the majority of Black communities throughout the United States are in shambles. There's some Black politicians trying to make a difference, but they're out of the box. But the ones that stay in that Democratic box, they got to change. They have to change. Our children depends on it. Our grandchildren, our generations depend on it. And we have to demand them to do better, or they need to get out of the seat. And this is the problem with Black people staying just in one party. And I'm not saying go to Democrat. If you in New York, you could go to Working Families Party. You could go to the Green Party. You could even, in New York, you could even go to the Conservative Party because they support Democrat and Republican. Working Family Party only supports Democrats, so they lose their power. Westchester Magazine did an article on Dr. Cavallo at one time. And they called him the most powerful man in Westchester because he was head of the Independence Party. And what he did was he split. Some places he supported Republicans and some places he supported Democrats. And that made him the most powerful man in Westchester because he didn't put all his eggs in one basket. Black people, we do it, and that's why we don't have any political power. Because we put all our eggs in one basket. If you do not do that with your finances, if you go to a finance advisor, what did he tell you? To diversify your finance. Do not put all your things in one basket. You got a 401k. They say, well, you want aggressive or you want the steady 5%. And then you say, well, I want to mix it all up. So I have some money. If the stock market goes down, I got the majority in the fixed. And then I got some in the aggressive, right? So if we do that with our money, Why don't we do that with our political vote? Why don't we diversify our political vote? Why do we just stay in one party? That we ain't got nothing. We ain't got no institutions with that one party. Our schools are still twisted out with that one party. We have high crime and violence in our communities under one party. So why do we still do that? So please leave comments leave comments and go to blackwestchester.com for a lot of the columns and a lot of and please leave remarks on the website of the articles that you read. But please like and share, subscribe, definitely help us out in the YouTube atmosphere of algorithm, and have a blessed day, have a blacktastic day, and remember, God is in your vegetables. Peace.
The Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones takes you behind the headlines of Black Westchester Magazine, the leading voice for Black news and culture. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's Black Westchester Magazine's The Publisher's Desk, the news with the Black point of view.